presenter today. It's Luis Mejueiro from Fundación CITIC that's gonna present the demo of JIPO tool, and that's the main the purpose of today's meeting. Finally, Stefan Verhulst from the GovLab will present and discuss how JIPO can be an information engine for other initiatives. And I'm gonna at the very end, I'm gonna present the results of the survey towards Federation Roadmap for JIPO. And after that, we're gonna have Q&A session. So please free to ask any questions that you're gonna have during this session. We are having also remote participants, and hopefully they can hear us now. So I'm gonna give the voice to Christina now.
Thank you, Kasia, and thank you very much to all of you who are here today on the very last day of this IGF. So very briefly, I will introduce to you what we are trying to do with the creation of a Global Internet Policy Observatory. As you might know, the idea is not really new. Yesterday, I think there was a very interesting workshop on different initiatives that are trying to cope in a way or another with the same kind of problem. The amount of information that we have to deal with and to digest concerning internet governance developments, and how do we make the multi-stakeholder process that sometimes is quite overwhelming and sometimes even chaotic, how do we make this process more accessible, more inclusive and more transparent, especially for those stakeholders who do not have the resources to get involved and to follow all those issues that are constantly emerging. And so this is particularly intended for the weaker stakeholders like civil society or developing countries. So the idea to establish this observatory was supported by the European Commission, and there was this initiative to provide a tool, a technical tool, which could monitor and analyze internet policy, but also technological and regulatory developments across the world. We did a feasibility study last year to assess what technologies are available in different areas, and indeed there are plenty of technologies that could help us in this effort, ranging from automatic data collection, semantic analysis, and text mining. And the idea is really to make the most of this technology. So the accent on automation is very strong for this project. So JIPO now is currently being developed by a team of external experts as a European Commission project. So we decided to put some money in this project. And then in April, we launched a website, which is called jiponet.org, where you can find information about the status of the project, but also you can get involved in it, and this is also very, very important. We want to ensure outreach and inform and consult all different stakeholders, and we do this through regular webinars, social media campaigning, and presentations like this one. We are facing many issues where we need also the knowledge of others in order to make a tool which is useful for the users. For instance, just to give you a hint, one of the big obstacles we were discussing is taxonomies. How do we make sure that this initiative is not just a replication of others, but really brings added value? How can we ensure synergies with similar initiatives? And then, so the issue of taxonomies is quite prominent in that sense, but also issues like multilingualism. On this subject, a lot is being done in the European Union, but also in the UN, and we are trying to reach out also to different communities to bring in their knowledge. So in this meeting, I think we will showcase what has been done so far, and we will try also to get your input. because again, it's crucial for us to get different stakeholders involved in all stages of the development of the tool, so that it can be really a useful tool for you as users. Before the project will be completed, we will have to have a conversation also about who will manage the tool. And here I would like to stress that the European Commission does not wish to be the owner of this project. The idea is that the tool should serve the global community, so we are really open, and we are now engaged in discussions already with several partners and organizations on how best to manage the tool and being responsible for the tool. JIPO has also established an advisory group which works independently from the European Commission, and it's composed of 12 members that bring in also different knowledge and expertise, and they provide guidance on different aspects of the project. They have already started to discuss technical, legal, cooperation and community issues related to the development of the tool. So I think that with this brief introduction, I will give you the floor back. Thank you.
So I guess everybody is excited to see the practical side of the tool. We're going to try to connect with Luis, that is responsible for technological development of the JIPO tool, and he's going to lead us through the tool itself, as well as present some videos of the demo of the tool. Let's see whether Luis can connect with us. I would ask technical team to give Luis the voice. Luis, we cannot hear you right now.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Luis Meijueiro, who is going to present.
Do you hear me?
Hopefully.
Hello?
Yes. Hi, Luis. Could you share your screen with us?
Hi. Okay, right now. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Kasia. I will share now my presentation. Wait a moment. Okay, do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon there. Good evening here in Europe. My name is Luis Meijueiro from CTIC. I'm going to present you the Observatory tool that is the main part of this initiative, the JIPO initiative. Okay, let's start talking about what is the Observatory tool. The Observatory tool is an automated tool that compiles and analyzes by itself, without human intervention, the information on Internet governance gathered from Internet, from many different sources, and related on various topics. And then, after automatic analysis of this information, makes it available to the community for further usage in the best way to reuse it and to analyze and to share it with everyone. Okay, so I will explain you the main components. It's a software tool, and as a software tool, it has a user interface. This user interface enables anyone to search, to view, to comment, and to participate in the debate about this different information gathered. This kind of information we are talking about in news, about articles, events, about documents in general. The tool also will have a visualization dashboard that will display some kind of data gathered in a useful way, maybe by using some kind of graphs like a tree map or maps or another kind of graphs. The system will also enable the users to curate the content, not only to view it, but some authorized users will be able to be part to complete the contents and to add more tags and to reclassify it and to elaborate the content in order to better understand it. And also, the community will be able to evaluate the quality of the contents, the usefulness, and rate it by a score system. But also, this tool will deliver this information compiled also for machines, not only for humans, but in a way that another machine, maybe another observatory, can integrate, interoperate with our tool and get the content and make queries to our database. So I will talk now about the origins of the content. We gather content from the internet, and it's public content. The content has to be open and available for anyone. We cannot pass any barriers, any passwords or controls so we will not get information that is behind some closed doors. We need, and we will collect open information, and we will get it from Atom and RSS feeds. That is the usual way to gather information in the internet for machines, that is web syndication, but also from web pages that are more made for humans, readable by humans, but we will get its content by scanning the HTML code and getting the most important parts. But also, we'll get content from social media. Social media is very important. There is a lot of debate in the social media, so we will try to gather content from, for instance, Twitter and Google+. But don't get this tool in a bad concept, thinking of it as an RSS reader. It's not only an RSS reader. This is the usual way to get content from between machines. But the tool will also analyze and classify the information by itself without human intervention, making use of semantic technologies and natural language processing and other kind of technologies. Will try to classify it and get this scoring of the information to display it and show it in an ordered way by relevancy. So for us, relevancy of the information is the key. We will first collect only the interesting information, not all the noise that is in the whole net. We will assign with this tool automatically some kind of scoring based in some algorithms that are also open and reviewable by the users, and anyone will see how the scoring is made and why these scores are assigned. And then the tool will enrich all the contents gathered, all the articles, all the documents with metadata, that is data about the information that is gathered, that is useful, like keywords, like tagging, like classifying this under some topics. That is very useful to share the content and to search in the tool for the information in a specific topic, for instance. So about the users, first there are two types of users. Any users, the tool will be accessible by an anonymous user. We don't ask you for any personal data, and with only you will use it as a normal web page. You will view and search the content. You will also be able to comment it and to share items. But if you are also an authorized user, you are registered, you can do some advanced features like proposing and adding sources to the system. You can collaborate with us, sending us a source that our tool can scan, and also participate in the maintenance of the filtering algorithms, but by trying to do them better and better, and try not to miss anything that maybe could be interesting, also in the maintenance of the categorization of the information in the tool. But apart from this talking, the best way is to see the interface. This is in the interface of the tool, only the home page, the access page. Currently it's in a closed beta because we will deliver the first public version at the end of this year. So we will go ahead and make a test. You only need, in this case, because it's closed beta, you need a username and a password. Like this, we are logging in the tool. And you will be presented with a homepage. This homepage is very basic at this stage. This will show you some kind of access, like a simple search box where you can search for any term and in the tool. And also there's a menu with the home, that is this same page, with the access to the sources and the items of information for analysis and different lists that you can see with the states of the items. Here you see a lot of items in this home page. Let's see what is in one of the items, like this one, for instance. Okay, here it is. We retrieve the whole content of the item. In this case, it's a news item. You can see the whole page, and you have some buttons. You can share this content in very different ways. You can edit the content. This is the curation part of the tool. If you are an authorized user, you may cut some parts of the text, complete, and make your corrections. You can export. This feature is to share the content with another machines, and you can pick every item individually for selection, for exporting. You can delete, and also you can defer. You can vote. These are the vote up or vote down. These are the collaborative part of the tool. And here you see the many tags that automatically the content gathers from the machine, and you can comment on the item. This is more quickly the basic features of in an item of information. Okay, the sources, you can, for instance, to add a new source is very simple. In this case, it's an RSS source. You only need the title, the URL. Here is a list of many sources that are currently alive and collecting items. And about the items, you can add, obviously, an item manually, just in case you detect some interesting thing. But the most important is that you can go to the analysis page, that is where all the items gathered live, and where that you can use it to search for items in a very advanced way, meaning that you can filter by a lot of different kinds of themes, by tags, or many ways. And you can also see the list of exported items to check what items are currently shared with other initiatives or observatories. Okay, let's go ahead. Then this was only a very quick overview of the main interface of the tool. So let's go step by step with the tool. Now I will talk to you about the content analysis. That is the best part of this tool. How does this tool analyze the content by itself? There is no human. Okay, we use the semantic technologies, and we get keywords extraction from the text that we get from the original source, from that article, that document, and we apply tags. We use semantic services to identify the content. You can say, understand what is the content about. And then we also classify it under one of different baskets, or someone called it baskets. We call it aspects in the Internet governance field. We use what we call a faceted search, because we classify it under facets. The government Internet governance taxonomy is one of the facets, but other facet is the type of content, if it is a news item or is an event or what is it. Another facet can be the date of the contents, the month, the year. And also another facet is the region. The region, we localize the contents, and we can see from what region does that content not only come, but also is talking about, what region is being impacted by that content. And also, apart from this automatic work, you can also include a human in the process to do that reclassification or text interpretation and curation. We will see it also with another example. In this case, we will focus on an item, this item, for instance, that is net neutrality in India. Okay, we will see that you have here the title. A human can see that the focus is net neutrality, and the machine classified it under governance principles. That is one of our facets under the world region Asia, and these are all the semantic tags. You can see that net neutrality is one of the tags that the machine automatically detected. So we have it here and here. If we click on net neutrality, the machine retrieves from its database every item that talks about net neutrality that we have collected all over the time. We have many pages here collected from several months here, and you see a lot of items. But this is only a list that is not so easy to search things in this list. So you can go to the items view, and going to the faceted search is more easy to retrieve the desired content. If we want to retrieve the same content, we knew that it was about India, about net neutrality. We have here the tag. We can click on the tag, and the tool only makes that filtering and only shows me the items that are talking about net neutrality, but I have a lot of information about every item. We can see every tag and every classification system. If we go on and reclassify it again by region, I select Asia, and only the list of items shortens. And if I know that it's a news item, I knew it. Here is the item. It's the same item that we begin with. So only with these 3 clicks we get to the information in very, very quickly. Okay, so getting messy with these things and dirty and seeing more technical things, how do we do the filtering and weighting of content? Okay, filters for us in the tool act as a gate for each source of information. If we don't apply any filter, nothing is retrieved from a given source, from a given web page that we are scanning. We at least have to give the tool one filter. We are looking for some kind of pattern, some kind of types of information. Then, when those matches occur and our tool detects that in that source there is something interesting to get, the information, when traversing these filters, is scored depending on them. We have a weighting system that, depending on some kind of coincidences and of keywords and so on, we assign every item of information a given score. I will show you it quickly also in this video. Okay, here we are again in the list of items. You see here in the first column a number. This number is the score number, and you see that the list is ordered by this number. This number, you can assign it to the relevance as a whole of the whole item. If we go to the source, we have a section of filters. These are sample filters that gives a score for different kinds. In this case is the group of open and inclusive, and talking about when detecting something, talking about net neutrality and terms, similar terms, is assigned a kind of weight that you see how I change it. We have the simulation. The simulation is a process that this part of the tool is for an authorized user that can work on the algorithms and customize them to get their right scoring, to get the right content and not lose anything. So when we click simulate, the tool makes a simulation and presents us the items that would be collected from the source and what score would be given and why. Here you can see the logic, what kind of algorithm and filtering is working. This is only a simulation, the content is not being retrieved, and the authorized user can fine-tune this filtering. And when he's happy with it, then apply it, and the machine will get, the observatory will keep going and collecting items. Okay, another part of the tool, very important, is enabling the content evaluation by the users, and all the users in general could provide feedback and rate the content and share it. As I showed you at the very beginning, the user can vote up, vote down, make commentaries, and send items by email or in the social media. We have a demo here about this feature. This is the homepage with latest content, popular content. We can search for instance, for IGF with the general search. Okay, and we see a list of articles. Let's see in October. In October, we only have one article, for instance, that here is, okay, understanding and mitigating online hate speech and youth radicalization. If a user wants to comment here or share. It can be vote up. For instance, we click here and okay, there's a vote up. Every user can see this voting and the machine is counting the votes, and we can add a comment. For instance, we will try to type, okay, about this article, I agree with it because I vote up, and I think that we need to support young women and men with, okay, just type in new, okay, it's only a commentary. In this case, and opportunities. It's only to demonstrate the commentary part. It's very, very easy. And this commentary that is being typed will be seen by anyone, by all the users. All the users will have access. This is transparent for everyone. And any other user can reply and go on with the conversation around this particular item. Replying is as easy as that. Okay, let's go ahead. This is what's only a testing. This is what's very simple. And this part, the tool, also will provide all this content not only for using it inside the Observatory tool, inside this particular software tool. We will share it for any other software, any other machine that wants to get and our content, our curated content, our tagged content, all those things that we've marvelous done with this tool, and can get something different in the way of presenting that information for a specific community, or only selecting some kind of items based on a specific topic, or making a data visualization based on our data. We will share it in different ways. The straight way is sharing it in the most common way, that is using the XML, that is a language for sharing content between machines. And the easiest way is also web syndication and RSS type. But we will also give an API, that is a programmatical way to interact with our database and make more specific queries. So the content can be automatically consumed by other IT systems, like in observatories. We will see an example of this very quickly. In this example, I think that Stefan will show you a sample of how to integrate our content with another observatory, but I will show you quickly how to make a test by yourself if you want, because you can see here that if we go, for instance, to the exported items, we have here some items of information that we have selected to export. We can use an RSS reader. And as you can see here, and any RSS reader can read immediately our feed. But we can make more complex things, like, for instance, using a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet. I think many people knows how to use it, and it's a very useful tool to make information and queries. And I'm only showing you how to quickly, using this feed, this is the URL of the feed, and using some formulas. Maybe for some of you, maybe these formulas are some complex, but in essence, these formulas, what they are doing is retrieving the contents from the output feed from JIPO, and then selecting what kind of information wants to retrieve. Maybe the title in this case, and we see the title, we are saying, okay, the tool is loading, and as you can see, immediately the Google Sheet shows you the title of the items of our observatory. And they are different tools and different machines, and immediately you have access from outside to the contents of the JIPO tool. It was only a quick demonstration. In a sense, for a human, you will access the observatory tool from the internet using any web browsers that you want to choose. Not now, as I said, currently we are testing the tool. I am showing you it, but you will have access at the end of the year as planned for the first version public version of of the tool, and you will have also access from a machine on another system if you want, using this RSS feed, or in the future, next year, we will show you the APA. So this is the timeline, very summarizing it. In June, we finished this beta version. We are currently testing it, and in December, we will release the first public release. We will add to this first public release the first data visualization and Twitter as a source. That's why I did not show it you, because we are currently developing these software components. And in June next year, we'll have a second public release. We'll have 4 releases. Then you will have a full dashboard for users, a dashboard where you can configure your own searches and save it if you are a registered user. And you will have another more data visualization, like a map or timeline. We will add more sources from social media, like Google+, and you will have the APA, so you can query, your machines will be able to query our database. And the final release, that will be delivered at the end of next year, we will also add a source search assistant, because as you see, you have many sources. The sources are collaboratively added by many users from us and from the community, but the machine will try to make this work easier and suggest sources of information based on the information that has been gathered, collected by the tool. And also we'll be adding different recommendations by the community to the functionalities that the tool currently have, and the test that a user will do once the first public release has been done. So finally, to conclude, we want you to send us your comments and say, how can the observatory tool be useful for you? Okay, at first, some actors that can right now use our tool are other observatories, obviously. Also, internet governance actors and events can use our tool or the information gathered by our tool. And obviously, policymakers and organizations interested in internet governance topics that we have collected for them and curated and classified it in a useful way. Okay, this is more or less the same, how another observatories can use our tool. They do not need to create their own technology. They can get content from our tool. Events can use our tool to prepare the information that could be shared between participants and talking about some specific topics that will be debated on the event, for instance. And obviously any policymaker organization or any user interested in these topics can go to our tool and search for contents and share it and use it to solve their questions and things like that. Okay, so that's from my side. If you have any questions, I think we'll have some time later. Thank you very much, and think about this question.
Thank you, Luis. Now I'm going to give the voice to Stefan. I'm going to ask the technical team to help me out to show the picture that we need to show. May I ask for help? Somebody from technical team?
Thank you, Kasia, and thank you, Luis, for the introduction and overview of current status of JIPO. And my name is Stefan Verhulst. I'm at the GovLab, and we are working on another mapping effort, which is totally complementary to JIPO, which is called the Net Mondial Solutions Map, which seeks to map resources, actors, and responses by tapping into the expertise and intelligence and energy that is out there in the community. So we are more of a crowdsourced effort, and we're also more of an effort to really start mapping the connections as opposed to what JIPO wants to do, which is really try to have a constant feed of updates and news. And so we believe that for any map to be successful, You have to be comprehensive with regard to the issue or issues that you seek to address. You have to be accurate, but you also have to be up to date. And so for that reason, we've started talking and looking into possible ways for collaboration with JIPO from, I think, day one almost, in order to really start thinking about how can the different functionalities actually add value if you would bring them together. And so here on the screen we have a mock-up of what we hope to realize in close collaboration with JIPO, in which you would have our content that is provided by the community, but then ultimately enhanced by a feed that JIPO would provide. And so that's the reason why we would call it JIPO. Anyway, we would use the JIPO engine in order to make sure that people who visit the site also have access to up-to-date, ongoing activities, in addition to the resources, in addition to the background that is up there. And so that's the current mock-up that we have. As you've seen the moment, we are moving ahead and the tool becomes more operational, we will then ultimately integrate it as well. And so that's just one example of a possible collaboration, and we are very pleased to have that opportunity and to be able to tap into this public interest tool that the European Commission is funding and is being developed by Cassia, Luis, and their colleagues.
Thank you, Stefan. So, Stefan mentioned one thing, that we started to collaborate from the day one. Yesterday we had a workshop of all the observatories and mapping initiatives, and I think this is the most important thing, that we are trying to achieve synergies between different initiatives and not to repeat the same things and not to invest resources in the same things. And in the scope of that, while creating JIPO, because JIPO is the process in creation, it just started this year, but it's going to continue for 2 years to come, and we are inviting all the initiatives to shape the project together with us. And in the scope of JIPO, we started to talk to all the other initiatives and observatories. So I'm going to present very briefly, because we have only 19 minutes, the first results of the survey towards Federation roadmap. Okay, and this is a short analysis that is meant to find out, to analyze the possible scenarios of collaboration between JIPO and other initiatives. I'm going to show you just first results, because the end report is going to be published by the end of 2015. So if you feel that your initiative should be involved, just I'm going to share the details with you later on. Just access the site and fill in the survey, and you're invited to talk to us and arrange bilateral meeting. So we invited 33 initiatives to cooperate and talk with us about possible synergies. We got 16 replies, and we managed to attract stakeholders from representing broad range of organizations and types of initiatives, and geographical coverage as well. You can see here. This gives you a little bit of a background on what is the landscape of internet governance, observatories and mapping initiatives. So as you can see, they are from very different areas. So we have NGOs, we have networks of research centers, we have initiatives that are backed up by industry or just independent voluntary projects. And some of them are observatories, some of them are just repositories of knowledge. There are mapping initiatives such as Net Modular Solution Map, and there are a network of scholars and centers or just research projects and reports. And they cover different global thematic coverage. So we have initiatives that, of course, cover the whole world, but there are initiatives that just focus on Europe or on Africa or Asia or South America or Australia. So as you can see, we attracted a broad range of initiatives all over the world. And some of them are targeting the niche projects, their own niche, for example, diplomats as Digital Watch, and some of them are attracting a wide target group. It depends. And some of them, they don't really state what is the target group. As you can see, some of them focus only on internet governance, but there are also initiatives that have much broader scope. And here you can also see what's the main prevailing subject for most of them. In this case, this is going to be security and trust issues. We skipped. So, and very briefly, because it's very interesting, that as you can see, this is a very young landscape, because most of the initiatives were started around 2012, with some exceptions, and most of the initiatives are very small. It's the 75% of them are have below 5 people working on it, and most of them are very often they work on voluntary basis or part-time or assigned to other projects. So this is why financial sustainability is a huge issue. So just to go on very quickly, main lesson learned from other initiatives and why also JIPO is important here, and these are some of the issues that we are dealing with, is of course resources are a challenge. So what you could see, most of the initiatives see the need for sustained resources, financial and human, and of course human resources is a big challenge. So this is why we have JIPO, because JIPO is an automated tool that helps people to focus on curating content. So they don't have to focus resources on developing technology. They can just focus on adding added value and bring and create the content instead of searching for the information. Relevancy of information is a challenge for most of the initiatives, and as you could see from Louis' presentation, JIPO tool is tackling the problem as well and trying to focus on and assess the relevancy of information, focus on the information that is relevant and useful. And multilingualism is a big challenge that JIPO is going to tackle as well. It's not really solved right now, Christina, I think. We are focusing on five languages as far as I know, but we're going to try to include more if it's possible.
That's why we need more partners and people and organizations that can get on board and help us.
But on a technical level, we're going to try to tackle the problem from the technological perspective and approach multilingual somehow. Maybe Louis can cover it in more detail. And of course, taxonomy and semantics is a big challenge, and this is why all the observatories and mapping initiatives try to talk together, because we want to achieve as much interoperability as possible, and having the same semantics, keywords, hashtags is very important. And we also came to a conclusion after the initial discussions that it's not about the taxonomy and big taxonomy itself, because we can have endless discussions about taxonomies and how to divide the internet governance subjects into categories, but it's more about underlying dictionary of keywords that you can then assign however you want. So we're trying, as you can see, we're trying to be very practical. And hopefully as a result of this project and talking to other initiatives, and also as a result of initiative of Stefan, at some point we're going to reach a common dictionary of keywords with all the initiatives together, and that will safeguard the interoperability of all the initiatives in the future, or at least make it more feasible. So that's what we are hoping for. Okay, so the whole idea about the survey and about talking to all the other initiatives is to see whether we can collaborate and have and whether there is a potential for interoperability. As for now, we talked to 16 initiatives, and all of them expressed interest in collaboration. And majority of the initiatives express the interest in partial integration of services and collaboration on some level. And as you can see, we can collaborate either by syndication of content, organizing common events or trainings or courses. Common conceptual cooperation is very important, and we can also cross-communicate our activities. From what we checked with the feasibility of interoperability, most of the initiatives have at least RSS feed that they can share. But some of them still are working on it. So it's also important to talk to all the initiatives beforehand. So when they create new pages or new mapping exercises, that they think about how useful they can be to other partners, and take into consideration that it would be great if they could be interoperable from the start. And if you feel that your initiative can contribute to common discussion, you can contact me, or you can access our webpage and you can fill in the survey. So here, the link is here for you to use. So that was very short from my side. We have still 10 minutes to go for any questions and any comments that you have, and I would like to give the floor to all of you. Thank you. Yes, so there's another comment from Christina that all the slides will be available online and all the demos will be available online. So please free to access our site in next days to use all the materials. And we also organize all the webinars on the ongoing basis. So every month there is a webinar on the future developments and common collaboration. So please, I would like to invite you to take part in future webinars. Maybe you can use, please. Can you introduce yourself?
Julia Reda from the European Parliament. I'm interested, since the JIPO is supposed to provide not just a repository but a filter of information and present the most relevant information, what your conception of relevancy is there. Is it only about how much the articles in question or the resources have been used in the past, or is there also some kind of underlying conception of quality or relevancy? Because the problem that we're always trying to solve here is that on the one hand we want all the stakeholder groups to be equally involved in the discussion, but at the same time, of course, there are also more important, more dominant parts of the debate that draw a lot of attention. So I would be interested to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, Luis, I think you can answer this question. Can we hear you?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, a little bit louder, please.
Okay. Yes. Okay, talking about relevance, I said...
Louder, Luis, we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear, I will try to level
you can
up.
shout.
My mic only?
Yes, now.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so talking about relevance, we are at first using a simple approach, that is by quantity. Any item can talk about several issues, especially issues related with internet governance. So the more issues the item talks about, the more relevant we'll get. But this is only our first approach, because we are only developers mainly, and not experts in internet governance field. So we can control very accurately the scoring of every item. So we can define make rules that are algorithms to score this information. So if we can find a rule that you can say, okay, this is most relevant because not only talks about a specific item, topic related with internet commerce, but because it's talking about two items specifically, and I know, a human knows that this combination of topics, when found together, are more relevant than found them isolated. For instance, it's only an example. We can do an algorithm to detect that and then score it more. So we are only starting, but the possibilities are very promising.
Just an addition also to this, thank you, Luis, for the technical explanation. To me, it's important to say that the algorithm will be completely transparent and open, for those who can understand how it works. So also the other parts of the tool will be using open source software as much as possible to ensure transparency of how the data is collected and on how then, by using also open data software, the tool will be able to develop also in the future.
And I think there is also additional thing, Louise, that we showed that there is an option of evaluating the content within the tool. So that also gives you additional kind of relevancy, because you can actually comment on the content and evaluate whether it's relevant or not, and that can be analyzed later on and adjusted. Do we have any comments from remote participation? No. Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Uta Nalvidi. I'm here representing a European network of children's organizations working on online safety. Some of you have already heard me, so my apologies if I make maybe similar points again. But just to the observatory, because as NGOs we are completely independent, as the name suggests, we are independent of government, independent of any other interest groups, industry, for example, so we can challenge. But that brings me a bit to the question about NGOs registering, because the list was very quick and I couldn't see any NGOs there, and maybe there are some. But what about if an NGO applies to be a member that you don't like? So everyone can think about hate groups, or who have a nice name like cultural names or something like that. And who decides to be the gatekeeper, and what opportunities will people have to challenge a decision?
Maybe at the beginning I mentioned very briefly that now we are really focusing on the tool, on the technical tool. At some point we will need to have a discussion about governance. What you're telling me is who is going to decide who is on the list, who likes whom. I mean, for the moment the tool is just a tool. There is no management behind the tool, but in principle it should be open, and maybe we should also make a distinction. One thing is the list of sources that the system will track automatically. So for instance, if you're an NGO producing papers or information about internet governance related issues, the system will track you. You don't need to subscribe to the system. The system will find the information automatically. And even if it is in another language. So that's the idea. So maybe we need to make this distinction.
Which information, like if you have a web page or you have an observatory, we are checking whether it's valid, whether it's in machine readable format, and we can use it. But somebody has to accept this list of sources, and we also have advisory group that propose sources and that can check and comment on it. So there is some kind of filter, because at the very beginning you need to create a list of sources. So of course we're not going to promote, like we don't assess really a content, but of course we're not going to probably promote the content that it's not, yeah, depends on the point of view, but there is a list of sources that needs to be put into and accepted. So if there would be something really incredibly inappropriate, probably somebody would decide on it, but I don't know what's the process behind. Maybe there has to be some process developed behind. Yeah, and that's a valid comment. And the second thing is that there is a list of initiatives that we cooperate with, and this is a process in creation, so feel free to connect with us and talk to us, and we can talk about the collaboration in the future. So, thank you. So we see that there is only 1 minute left. If you have any other questions or comments, please do. If not, we're going to close the session, and thank you all for participation. And I invite you one more time to access the website and follow our webinars and materials. Thank you very much.